Today we're here to hear from lawyers who are seeking the office of Circuit Judge of the Ninth Judicial Circuit. Now, their resumes and the information has been distributed to you by the League of Women Voters of Orange County. Before we get started, last time you were here, you heard from county judges. So let me just share a little bit about circuit judges and what they do. Each will be called up individually, but at this time I'm going to ask that the candidates please stand and face the audience so that they can see you. And just bear with me for a minute. Last month you heard about county court judges. To me, county court judges are where the public is most likely to encounter the judicial system. They deal with traffic cases, small claims, evictions, landlord-tenant cases, in addition to misdemeanor criminal cases. Circuit judges handle more serious cases. They handle the more egregious cases. Any case involving sending a defendant to prison, medical malpractice cases, construction cases, wills and probate are handled by circuit court judges. Now I want you to look at these people for a moment and listen to me carefully. In my opinion, circuit judges are the most powerful trial judges in the state of Florida. You may ask, why do I say that? They're the only judges who can sign an order on an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper that's 1 millimeter thick that directs the state to kill somebody. It's called an execution. They are the only judges who can sign an 8.5 by 11-inch paper, 1 millimeter thick, who can sign an eminent domain order that allows the state, with compensation, to seize your property, even though it may have been in your family 6 generations and you don't want to move. They're the only judges in the state of Florida who can sign an order that terminates the bond between parent and child, termination of parental rights, but also grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and siblings. They have great power. Now, I want to think about this. I want you to think about that as you listen to their responses to the questions. Remember, you have the power to elect attorneys or retain judges who can become some of the most powerful people in the state of Florida. Now, I will explain the format, and thank you. You may be seated. I will now explain the format for today's forum. Candidates who oppose each other will be called to the stage in alphabetical order. Their biographies are available to you on the website of the League under Hot Topics. Our timekeeper, I'll ask that she identify herself. Jill, thank you. She mentioned that we met years ago when I was working at the juvenile court in 1983 or 84. Time goes on. She will signal when the candidate has 30 seconds remaining, and again when time has expired. When time is up, speaking must stop, even in mid-sentence. I will enforce those rules to be fair to all of the other candidates and to you. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for an opening statement, followed by 5 questions each with a 1-minute answer. 1-minute answer. And we will alternate who goes first. We ask the audience to please hold their applause until the conclusion of the entire forum so that there can be no favoritism shown and the candidate's time to answer is respected. Will all of you agree to do and follow those instructions? Will all of you agree to do and follow those instructions? Thank you. Now at this time, we'll bring up candidates for Group 1, Temika Hampton-Johnson and Judge Mikaela Nix. Candidate Charles Hart did not respond to the forum and therefore is not here today. Please come up and take a seat.
Thank you.
Now, this is your chance to make an opening statement that lasts 90 seconds. We'll start with Temika Hampton-Johnson. She will answer the first question and then we'll switch. You have 1 minute for other questions. How would you prepare yourself to handle cases involving unfamiliar, well, first, your opening statement, I'm sorry. You're on.
I'm sorry, I was waiting for the timekeeper. You guys bear with me, I'm on the back end of a summer cold.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, my name is Temika Hampton-Johnson, and I am running for Circuit Court Judge Group 1. Who am I? Most of you don't know who I am. Why? I have no political connections. I'm not someone who's popular in the community. What I am is someone who has worked hard to be here. I come from a small town called Stark, Florida, home of Old Sparky. So as Judge Thompson is talking about sentencing someone to death, I witnessed that as a child on an all too often basis. Against all odds, I've made it here. I've been a practicing attorney for 13 years. And I started my legal career as an assistant public defender in the Second Judicial Circuit under the tutelage of Nancy Daniels, and then transitioned into labor and employment law here in Orange County, where I represented the over 15,000 Orange County public school employees. The last 5 years, I served as the general counsel and chief negotiator for the Orange Education Support Professionals. So your custodians, your bus drivers, your paraprofessionals within your school systems. During that time, I sat at the table with the employer, which is the 9th largest school district in the United States, and negotiated working conditions, analyzed complicated data, litigated when necessary when the contract was not followed. I have a very diverse background. I've enforced the law as a military police officer. I've supervised individuals who've returned to society as a probation officer. And now I'm here continuing my service as public servant, and I would love to have your support. Thank you.
Restrain yourselves, no applause. Judge Nix, your response, please, 90 seconds.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Mikaela Nix, and if you were one of my clients at Nix Law PA, where I was in and out of the courtroom, you would call me Attorney Nix. If you're one of my students at Valencia College or Seminole State, you would call me Dr. Nix. If you are a person inside of my courtroom, you would call me Judge Mikaela Nix Walker. If you're my husband, you call me Mrs. Walker. But my favorite one is Mommy. I had a toddler on the bench. Her name is Ava, and a son of mine. And I am a trailblazer. No matter what you call, I answer to them all. My family's been here in the Florida area since 1887. I was one of the first African-American women to win a contested race right here in the 9th. And I believe experience matters. We live in Orlando, Florida, which is a South melting pot, so many diverse cultures. And I believe that you have to be able to sit at many tables. And that's what I do, and I think I do that better than my opponents. It's important to know cultures, and that is where and how many tables can you sit at, and do you feel comfortable being a leader? Over the last 5.5 years, I've been assigned to thousands of cases in the felony bench and on the Orange domestic bench. My temperament, access to justice, and equal relatability to others, I think stands out. Over the last 5.5 years, I've been honored to be your judge, and I think that I haven't faltered. I'm still about fairness, honesty, and commitment.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
The next question goes to Judge Nix. How would you prepare yourself to handle cases involving unfamiliar areas of law?
Preparation and practice is key. Just like in any other job, you have to prepare yourself for the matters that are coming. And so before I sit in that courtroom, I've already reviewed the cases, I've already looked at documentation, and I've already been prepared legally. But most important is when you get into that courtroom, a leader knows that there's going to be a variety of things that may happen. So making sure that you're prepared is going to be the best.
Attorney Hampton-Johnson, are you familiar with the Code of Judicial Conduct, and is your family familiar with the Code of Judicial Conduct? I'm sorry, just a moment.
Sorry.
Okay, I don't have that, but please respond then to the question that was asked previously about how you would prepare for a case you're not familiar with.
Thank you. My answer is similar. Preparation is the key. You know, that's the military background. We got to always do our reconnaissance. We got to know what's going on beforehand and be prepared. Now, can you prepare for everything that may possibly happen? Absolutely not. That's where your temperament comes in, and having a level head and being able to respond under pressure when things, you know, go awry. You may not have the answer, and that's okay. Take a moment, take a deep breath, and be willing to accept that you may need a little of assistance. I may need a recess to do a little research, tap into my fellow judges, and make sure that whatever I'm providing to the public, I'm providing my best. Not just my best, but the best that I can provide with all the resources that are available to me.
Thank you. The next question goes to you, and it was a question you heard before. Are you familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct, and is your family familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct?
Thank you. I've become intimately familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct during this election season. And my wife is here, and she's not happy about it. She has also become familiar because we have to talk about it a lot. We talk about the campaign all the time. We talk about the rules. So definitely within my immediate family, they are aware. A lot of my extended family, even my 90-year-old grandmother, is aware of the rules and things she can and cannot say to individuals during this process.
Thank you, ma'am. Question now goes to Judge Nix. Are you familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct, and is your family familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct?
Yes, I'm very familiar with the Judicial Code of Conduct, and the level of impartiality is very important. Canon 7 is something that I review on a consistent basis, and making sure that you are coming across impartial. And that's what judges need to be, impartial and neutral. And my family understands that as well. As a judge now for almost 6 years, I've had the opportunity to speak with my family, had an opportunity to speak with my husband, and I do believe that those canon rules are going to be key when we talk about fairness.
Thank you. Let me say something just as an aside. The Code of Judicial Conduct are 7 rules, canons, that we are bound to follow. You have to be kind, you have to be nice, you have to be diligent at work, etc. Canon 7 involves elections, and people will ask, if you are a lawyer, why aren't you supporting your spouse who's running for office? Your family members cannot speak for you at a monolithic political party, Democrat, Republican, or Libertarians. That's prohibited. So you have to be sure your family and friends don't get you into trouble by hanging you out to dry because they have good intentions. Attorney Nix, the next question is for you. Have you ever had to support a legal position that was contrary to your personal beliefs?
I believe that as a judge, you shouldn't have any necessary personal beliefs when you get onto that bench. When you become, the weight of the robe is heavy, and now it is not the weight of the win as an attorney, but the weight is the result as a judge. And so I'm a problem solver in that courtroom. My job is to make sure that I solve the problems that come in and out of the residents and or people who are in contact with Orange and Osceola County. And so there's going to be decisions that you may not agree with, but that's not your role. My role is to be impartial and neutral.
Thank you. Question now is to Attorney Hampton-Johnson. Have you ever had to support a legal position that was contrary to your personal beliefs?
Yes, I think we all have as attorneys, especially as public defenders. You don't pick your clients that come through the door. What you do decide when you become a public defender is that you're going to support the Constitution. You're going to defend the Constitution and the rights of those individuals in front of you. So whether they don't like me, our views don't align, whatever the case may be, I still have a duty to defend their constitutional rights, and I have always done that. As a judge, I would continue the same. Whatever the law is, whether I agree or disagree what the law is, what the rules are, I will enforce those rules as the legislature has decided, and leave my personal opinions at home.
Thank you. Judge Nix? Let's see. I'm Judge Hampton, Attorney Hampton-Johnson, briefly describe a case or legal issue on which you worked that you are particularly proud or which is reflective of your legal ability and work ethic.
Ooh, gotta narrow it down to one. I would say the thing I'm most proud of is the work that I have done with the unions here in Orange County Public School. In the fight for 15 and sitting down with the district when they say there's no money available and analyzing that budget and looking at legislation to figure out where we can get the money and winning that fight and getting them to 15 well before statute required that they get to that number. So I think that would be number one on my list if I had to pick one.
Attorney Nix, your response, briefly describe a case or legal issue on which you worked that you are particularly proud or which is reflective of your legal ability and work ethic.
Definitely. As a judge, I think I have many people that come in and out of that courtroom. But I'm most proud of the connections that I've made with the community. You see, I believe that a circuit court judge has to have tools in their toolbox that they can pull out, that they can help when different people come into your courtroom. The black and white is going to be the law, but the grace is in the gray. And so finding different organizations, different nonprofits that can assist me, that can help me, that I have a tool in that toolbox I can pull on out, whether you're a grieving family, whether you are one accident away, I believe that those are the things that I'm most proud in, as the law won't change.
Thank you. Attorney Nix, what is the most important? Judge Nix, excuse me. I once called a lawyer ma'am, and she was upset that I wasn't respecting her. So Judge Nix, it is.
No, I just let it ride because you're
I was
Judge
wrong,
Thompson, so I normally don't say anything.
Judge Nix, what is the most important characteristic of a judge?
I think one of the most important characteristics of a judge is patience. You would be very shocked at how many different types of people and cultures that are going to come in your courtroom. Sometimes they're going to be senior citizens that you can't speak up and you can't speak fast. You have to drop your tone. You have to be level-headed. You have to speak with them with ease. Sometimes we have people who don't speak English in our courtrooms. You have to be patient. And that comes with leadership, knowing the room, evaluating that room, and being patient enough to know when to hold them, when to talk, when to allow closure. And that just comes with experience as a leader.
Thank you. Attorney Hampton-Johnson, what is the most important characteristic of a judge?
I believe the most important characteristic of a judge is their temperament. And how do you handle situations, like I said earlier, when things go awry? How do you handle if you're having a frustrating day, if you have a defendant in your courtroom who you believe is agitating you or someone who doesn't understand? How do you handle those situations? Do you have humility in that moment to take your ego out of the situation and make sure you're assisting the individual there? Do you show respect to the people that are in your courtroom? Are you making sure that the courtroom is for them? You're remembering at all times, every person in that courtroom, you work for them. And that you want to make sure they feel respected, they feel honored, and they feel happy to come to work and come into your courtroom. And they understand when they come in, it might not go their way, but they were treated with respect, they were heard that day, and they're leaving the court with a little more faith in the justice system.
Thank you. At this time, we've completed the round of candidates, so thank you for your responses. Thank you for your attention to the time, and you may step down.
Are we dismissed? Are we?